live. Fuck, man, we're back.
Good.
2 months.
2 fucking months. We're back at it. I hope you guys missed us. I've seen people hitting me up, tweeting about it. Well, I mean, people are excited. We uploaded the YouTube video from 2 months ago, and we still got views. Like, people are actually tuned in, like, from content from 2 months ago.
Thank
So
you.
thank you guys.
Thank
so
you.
much. But we're back. Hopefully we'll be active. Pray for weekly episodes. By the way, this is episode 26 now? I didn't even check. It's 20 something, guys. You can look it up.
Yeah.
I go by Jude, aka JK, aka J Swish, aka The Praise, aka I Flick 'em Up, Flick It Up, aka Juden Laden, aka The Habitual Line Stepper, aka Young Aokiji, aka the #1 Brandon Ingram stand, aka Club Rona Veteran, aka Top Tier Load Manager, aka Judicus, aka I don't do the jewel, but I act the fool with a Nazca tool, aka I'm done here.
Wait, what was that? What was that one? I missed that one.
I don't do the jewel, but I act the fool with a Nazca tool.
I fuck with that one. I fuck with that one. That's new.
Hi, y'all. What's good, y'all? My name is Ren, aka Diet Drake. You feel me? Diet Drake in the building, aka Mr. Beater Dooney's down, aka Benjamin. I get the Franklins. Man, let's get into it.
All right, guys, what's up? It's Sekou, aka the Firstborn, aka the Coldest, aka King FIFA, aka what? No fourth aka. But you know, we're back at it again. We're back at it again. But don't forget, it's Sekou, and don't forget, I always stay cool. Let's go.
Right. No, he faked me out with the last one.
Yeah, you make me out too.
I was like, oh, damn, that's tough. I mean, you should have read it off like me, bro. Nah, but he had it the entire time, man.
It's all good.
Stay cool, bro. Stay cool.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, we got what? So what we've been up to for the last 2 months? I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna lie. These last 2 months, I wouldn't say depressed me, but it was just, I couldn't go on with the show, and then because the protests were going on, back in June and July, so it was hard for me to do content like this, and then because I wanted to, I feel like you can agree, I wanted to give space to the things that are going on, the George Floyd protests and things like that. But other than that, I've been chilling. Summer school. Deleted my old Twitter. Got a new one. That was an experience. Getting my name back and everything. I don't know. The reason why I even got a new Twitter in the first place, I was trying to delete tweets from high school, and I found a site to do it, but it wasn't deleting the tweets from back then. It was deleting tweets the current tweets. So all my good tweets were getting deleted. So I said, man, fuck it. The whole thing just So I removed the entire thing and got back to it. I got COVID tested yesterday. So waiting those results, man. We went with the whole family. The whole family went. We was out in Concord. Yeah. What can I say about the COVID test? The COVID test was, I hope I did it right, because they actually did it. You have to do it yourself, the one I went. So you put the swab up your nose and you kind of swirl it around for 15 seconds in both nostrils. And I hope I did it right, because I've heard people say it hurts when you put the swab in your nose, but for me it didn't. I mean, I felt the pain, but it wasn't, I don't know. I hope I did it right. So we'll see in about a week or so. That's my update last 2 months.
All right. Yeah. My update, like how Jude was saying, I feel like we just wanted to be a little conscious of the space that we're taking up on social medias, because at the end of the day, our podcast is important as all the protests going on. And if we could, I feel like if we could do the best of our abilities to not take attention away from that, and only especially me as a non-Black person, I really wanted to amplify revolutionary Black voices that were, in the grassroots, handling these protests and everything. So just want to be conscious of that. And yeah, man. Summer school, that's all that's been going on with me. Summer school, studying for the LSAT. I started working again. Uh, yeah, fun times, man. Or not really fun. It's kind of boring to be honest, but we get it through it. We get it through it. And yeah, I just want to say protect black women, y'all. Protect black women.
Sure.
Right.
All right. It's been a minute since last time we recorded episode. And we definitely feel like it was okay to give space to the movement, Black Lives Matter movement. And it's also important to make note that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean all lives don't matter. It's that when we're in danger, when we're being attacked, and when there's injustice, understand that we are human too, and we want protection. We want to be accurately represented. And these past months have shown that we can make a difference. We have seen some accountability with some legislation, but at the end of the day, we still have far to go. And the hope is we can see meaningful change. And as for this last couple months of quarantine, not gonna lie, the first couple weeks was a little rough. Like we just came off of spring quarter. No, we just came off winter quarter, I mean. And then I just got back home the day after my birthday, so I had to celebrate with my family in quarantine. I was ready to get have some plans set up,
Yeah.
but then that got like just canceled. Just can't leave, can't go anywhere. Yeah, I'm not taking classes right now, but hope to take classes later in session B. Let's see. When we have been staying busy is just going out to the park and my backyard, just staying busy with my little brother, doing some body weight exercises. And one thing I took up recently was boxing, and because they made it known to me that there was one of these episodes when like I checked someone with the N-word pass. I checked someone with saying the N-word, and then they say, hey, "Can you fight?" I'm like, I found out that I don't have the hands, but like after receiving some kind of training, like I feel like I can like handle myself, but I know I want to get in a fight over something trivial, you know.
Yeah.
But that made me realize fighting is something you should do as a last resort, and it's helped me enjoy like watching boxing and anime a lot more. So that's my quarantine so far.
Feel that. I feel like everybody should, take up a little bit of fighting lessons.
Definitely.
It's definitely fun, Like yeah, and it's good to know in case the situation ever calls for it, because you never know what's gonna happen. Yeah. First topic though. Let's get right into it. Hey, I just want to say, yo, it's good to be back, man. Hey, all these AKAs, all these stories, it's good to be back.
For real.
Oh fuck, we got Jada on the first Jada and the Entanglement situation on the first one.
Bro.
It's a whole timeline. Let me just, for people that don't understand what's going on. So August came out with an album. August Alsina came back after years of suffering from, I get personal issues. I can't remember what. Came up with an album called State of Emergency. Had an interview, talked about his relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith. And then Jada came out with a Red Table Talk with Will Smith. Will Smith was looking devastated.
Demoralized, bro.
Demoralized. But hey, I mean, we know, if you know Will Smith, he has a roster himself. So, but his roster keeps quiet. I'm gonna just say that. August Alsina came up with a song called Entanglements with Rick Ross. Guys, what's going on? Trying to make what's going on
here. Oh. All right, so what I want to say is the word entanglements, I think entanglements on Twitter was funny as hell, bro. For like the first 2-3 days, it was funny. But after that, it got a little old pretty quick. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. The situation is kind of funny because people had already known that, Jada and Will were a little like odd. I feel like that's the vibe you get when you hear them talk in person. Love them as actors. They kind of weird outside of that. And so I think it was kind of common knowledge that they already had an open relationship. Like I had known that since like before this whole thing. And nothing wrong with that. We're all for polyamorous relationships if that's what you're into.
Not gonna lie, you to me, but keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really want to like get on their head for that. My thing is just, it just seemed a little weird that Will Smith didn't really know about this. Like, if you're gonna have an open relationship, that's basically a pass, And then you still not gonna let him know. Like, that's just hella weird to me, bro. So yeah, that was a little treacherous of Jada. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny how Will Smith said that he was gonna get some get back. He was like, "Oh, I need to get my payback." And Jada was like, "Oh, it's not all about getting payback." And Will Smith was like, "Yeah, it is."
Yes.
That should have me crying, bro. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it.
I thought, the interview was the first interview he did with, I forgot who she was, but I don't know. August Alsina did an interview. I saw it, and my first thought was, like everyone else, was like, why would you come up with this information? Why would you talk about your relationship? It sounds like you're the side nigga. So I feel like, and if you're dealing with someone with like Jada Pinkett, I feel like you should be quiet. That's just me. Because now, like I agree, like Jada, Wilson said, like now Black Twitter's in their business because people wanted to talk. Yeah, I didn't agree with him coming out. Like I feel like he wanted some publicity. There was some gain in it, like because people are talking about his music now. And right? So I saw that, and then it's also I laughed hella hard. I was watching Jada Pinkett Smith explain this entanglement thing, and with August, he was like, "Oh, it's like a relationship," and I came to her my pain and all this, and then Jada comes on, and is like, "Well, it's just an entanglement." So just straight up downplay the entire relationship. And Will Smith saw this like, "You're an entanglement, like that's what we're calling it." Like,
yeah.
it was nice that Will Smith saw through the BS, but and then the song came out last night. Today is what? Today is July 19th, 2020. Song came out last night called Entanglements. Rick Ross is on the verse. First verse is crazy. First two lines, bro. Shawty leaning on my shoulder, got her questioning my willpower. Jaded by her beauty, but her reputation's real solid.
God damn. Not fair.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Rick Ross, listen. Rick Ross, the whole verse. I don't want to like say the entire. Y'all can read it yourselves. Every single line was just pure comedy to me. I feel like off that, Ross gets the verse of the year so far.
Oh wow!
I had so much fun listening to this verse. Cause like, bro, what the hell is this? Like, still I gotta get around. Favorite artist was Tupac. Watch the movie, then we freak it. I was like, golly. Yo.
Oh, wow.
His whole verse was crazy. I'm gonna give Ross verse of the year so far, just off that. Off that. Yeah, man, that's my take on it, man. I feel like, it's an open relationship, so I guess Jada sees it coming that, he's gonna get Margot Robbie or someone else on his roster. So. That's my take.
Yo, let's not get it twisted, bro. If Will Smith has a roster, it will be the deepest roster anyone's ever seen, bro. Yeah. All right. But like this, like aside from this, like entanglement situation, like recently I found myself watching like a bunch of Will Smith movies for some reason, like as a coincidence. Like I rewatched Hitch, I watched Hancock. And I'm like, bro, like his the female cast he's with, like they have chemistry. Where like at the time, like yo, they definitely have something on the side. Like I don't know how long they've been in an open relationship, Will and Jada, but like Will Smith's roster is like A1, straight to like NBA like finals, all that kind of shit. Like he's set.
Yeah,
but it seems like if he will get payback, like I don't feel like it's in him to like get payback because he already isn't out like in an open relationship, so he probably already has like someone like low key. And if he does, like he's not gonna open his mouth on it. Like he already has like good social media following. He already has like YouTube, TikTok going. Like he's popping already. Like he doesn't need that like drama, But I feel like this thing kind of hurt him a little bit. He was definitely kind of rough in that red table talk. But no,
Like if
that
that was
entanglement needs to be the word of the year, definitely, because
no, hang on.
word of the year is entanglement. Easy as that.
If I was Will Smith, man, I feel like I'd be slighted. Like you fuck. I guess Alcina, not no Chris Brown. Like I guess Alcina, nigga. Like come on.
For his
Oh my
neck.
god. Not Chris Brown.
I feel like if she's like fucking like Chris Brown, like she takes the L, cause like I feel like Chris Brown's like falling off for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
low
yeah?
key. But I mean, I get what you say though, Drew, with that, because Salsita it is low key like diet Chris Brown. Like, see, I don't fuck with Chris Brown's music like that. Like, if it's on, like whatever, I'll listen to it. But I'm not gonna stream this shit. I'm not gonna give money to him. But yeah, if we being real, talent wise, I feel like August Alsina is diet Chris Brown. But you know, that's all I'm gonna say on that. So I definitely feel what you say. Like, you're not gonna fuck with Chris Brown, the original August Alsina.
Bro, did y'all hear them talk about August? They said Augie. They called him Augie. They had a little name for him in the Red Table Talk. If you listen to it, they called him Augie.
Damn.
Augie. Maybe I'm wrong because I listened to Joe Budden podcast and they're calling him Augie. So maybe I'm mixing it up. But I swear to God, I heard like Jada say call him Augie. Like there's like a little nickname or something. I was like, come on, but Augie.
Bro, isn't he friends with Jaden or something? I read that somewhere, but I don't know how credible that is. Cause that's just. Oh, I was gonna talk about this. I was gonna talk about this. How it's like kind of weird, you know, like it's kind of predatory in a sense of like August Alsina. He said that he was going to her for like emotional help, right, and like for a relationship. And one, she's calling it just an entanglement. She's doing it too because she's doing it like as a rebound off of Will Smith because he hurt her. And three, the age difference. Like this motherfucker was like 20 years old and she's what, 41 now? 42, something like that?
She did it to feel good. I don't know.
She manipulated him. Like there's no doubt about it. She manipulated him. Which no one's really, I feel like not many people are calling her out on it, but you know, that's just me.
Let's unpack that for a minute.
Yeah.
Unpack.
Oh my God. Let's get on our Dr. Phil on real quick. Actually, this is not even Dr. Phil. I'm just bringing up like a hypothetical. Would it be like if this came out with like, if they'll say Margot Robbie came out like, yo, Will Smith, actually, fuck, I can confirm this. Would it be the same reaction as it was to Jada's situation, or would it be like, what would it be like? Would it be jokes if Will Smith came out with it, or would it be serious? Like, oh no, because I don't think.
I think it would be more serious then.
More serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think people would be joking about it nearly as much.
Okay, for sure. Because to me, I see it as, I don't think there'd be jokes. It's a little, I don't know. I would have the feeling of it would be serious for sure. But joke, you know, Twitter's gonna be jokes. What?
You hear that too?
Huh?
What was that?
I don't know. Did you hear that?
I thought I said something wrong.
Oh no, I just heard like something hella loud pop up. But go ahead. Go ahead. I don't know what that was.
Okay.
If Will Smith's side, I don't know, someone in his roster came out with this whole like, yeah, we had me and Will did our thing. Probably be serious. I think it'll be serious. I think so too. I mean, if it's a guy, yeah, you could see it. But I really want to say that it's because if it wasn't an open relationship, this definitely would be cheating, right? No? Yeah. But I think it's because, you know, if it's an open relationship, we're kind of more like, yeah, let's leave it up to jokes because it's an open relationship, so it is what it is. You know what I mean?
So did they break up or were they on a break or something?
Jada and Will?
Yeah. I believe they were on a break because Jada said that like she was really mad at him, and like Will said something about like not wanting to see her or some shit like that. So if it's a break, it's cheating. If they officially broke up and were like, we're not fucking with each other anymore, that's not cheating, but it's still false. You know.
Shit. Well, I mean, I feel like we exhausted. You know, we looked at every angle. No,
Yeah, I
I
think so.
think we're good on that. Yeah. Shout out to Rick Ross once again for this verse. One of my favorite rappers. This verse was very, very well written. He's a ghostwriter for a reason. So, yeah. Let's move on to what next topic. We got Megan getting shot by Tory, or reportedly shot by Tory. We don't know what happened for sure, but TMZ reported it. I'm willing to bet it's true.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I don't know why Tory has a gun in the first place. You're in LA, you're in California, hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion and Kylie Jenner. You have a gun out. Why? That's my first. Why? Why have the gun out?
Yeah.
How did it get to that point? How did it get to the point of him shooting her in the foot? And now I'm seeing that Megan unfollowed Tory. So it seems like there's something going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, like, I feel like Tory, if it is what I think it is, Tory got that little man complex going on. Because you know that man's like 5'3", hairlines, you know, had to bring back his hairline. He has to push up on every jump shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a little man complex going on. I'm just saying. That's just me. What y'all think?
I feel like I mean, me personally, I don't want to comment on it too much because I want to, you know, respect both of them and like have, or not necessarily Tory, you know, not necessarily respect Tory.
Right.
If he did it, then fuck him. But you know, I want to wait till like one of them confirms what happened, you know, because yeah, she did unfollow him, but yeah, I just want to hear from her that like Tory's the one that did this shit. But yeah, bro, like if he did do it, but he definitely is compensated for something, or like, you know, it's just that like toxic masculinity or whatever coming out, you know, like it's just like he probably felt like he was getting played some way or something. It's trash. It's trash, really. But yeah, Tory really fucking up. Tory really had so much going for him too.
Yeah.
Like as of late, bro, Tory was like, I don't know, like bro, beginning of quarantine. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Right. So I was like reading something from TMZ, and they said that she was like leaving the car that they were in, and then that she got shot in the foot. But the thing was, like, she told the cops that she stepped on glass, even though like she had to get surgery for bullet wounds. So definitely like I feel like they're trying to like change the story at the last minute, and like there's definitely something like super sketchy going on, and not all the details are in because there's been like some deleted tweets from her manager saying like they're gonna go after Tory Lanez, and apparently she was with one of her friends in the car too. So I don't know why he had a gun if they're like leaving like some party, especially if they were like with Kylie Jenner. Like, and I don't know why she fucks with Kylie Jenner if like they did Georgia Woods dirty like a long time ago. If you don't remember that.
Yeah. I'll never understand why, you know, people will keep hanging out with that family. That family is a curse. But
The Kardashian family is a curse, bro. Look what they're doing to Kanye, bro. It's
the whole
sinister.
Antichrist, bro.
You think Tory Lanez is done? Because like Ren said, you know, Twitter was rooting for this man at the beginning of the lockdown. He's doing great with quarantine radio. People were like, "Yo, she get his own TV show with this. You do great. You do numbers." It all went out the window with the situation.
I think Tory's gonna be done.
Yeah.
I think Tory's gonna be done. Outside of like those people that like being edgy and shit, and you know, still love blasting at the Chris Brown fans, like those types of people, or like X fans, you know, those weirdos that know that their favorite rappers did some weird shit and still support them. Outside of those people, I think he's done.
Yeah, I mean, you shoot Megan. I mean, Megan's like, who hates on? No one hates Megan, right? I mean,
You can't.
You basically put her life in danger by waving that gun in her direction, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And Lil Reese tweeted about it. So Tory Lanez might just die. Bro, for y'all that don't know who Lil Reese is, you know.
I forgot. I had to be reminded. Don't. I have to be reminded, bro.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
From Chicago, hang with Chief Keef and was referenced in the Love Sosa intro. So he's a problem. And he's known for getting his get back no matter what. Everybody that's ever called him out on Twitter or whatever had beef with him. He tweets a simple LOL, all lowercase, and then within a couple of days, they dead or handicapped or leg is shot or something like that.
You can't.
Is the Grim Reaper. Even that time that they made him shit his pants. Y'all remember that? That shit was hilarious. But he got get back for that too. So Lil Reese is a problem. And if he's putting a hit on whoever shot Megan, they gonna die, bro, or they gonna get hurt. Like for real, if it's Tory's gonna get hit, bro.
Bro, because I like the girl's tweet because she quoted her like, "Oh, you didn't even get back the dudes that got you," and I like the tweet. And then I seen Ren's tweet like, "Yo, like you must not know," and I'm like, "Oh shit, you're right. I forgot about this." Let me remove my like. And by the time I look back, she deleted the tweet when the dude said LOL, like, "Yo."
Oh shit.
The plan's already set in motion, so we should be expecting something real soon then.
Yeah.
But yeah, prayers to Megan. Hope she has a speedy recovery. Tory, think about your actions. Stop waving the gun around women or anybody. Like that's just not cool. Why would you? Why have a gun around women or anybody? Like why?
Yeah.
Just baffles me. Like you're around Megan Thee Stallion and you have a gun.
Yeah, I think as far as I saw, there was only like 4 people there. Outside of like people that were not in the pool and shit, but like the people in the pool were like Kylie, Megan's best friend or something, and Tory. So like, bro, you're hanging out around a whole bunch of girls. I doubt you have any ops there or something that you would need a gun. Like you got bodyguards, I'm sure, or friends there that got guns. I don't know.
I saw a take. I was listening to some dude's podcast. He was like, "Yeah, it's probably not the first time Tory's done this. The whole gun thing. Probably waving, like showing off his piece around, you know what I mean, to impress." I don't know, but yeah, man. Again, prayers to Megan, Tory. Think about your actions, bro. We got what Logic retiring. This is like a little comment. This isn't. We're not gonna dedicate a whole segment to this, but I was just laughing when I clicked on Logic. He was trending on Twitter a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Oh, he's probably dropping an album or something," or said some biracial comment. You know how he is.
Biracial.
Oh my God.
Right. And then so I click on it, and it's like, "Oh, Logic's retiring." And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's retiring! Wow." Gonna miss him, right? No, the rap game's not gonna miss him. I'm sorry. That's just me. I never cared. Like Under Pressure, when Under Pressure came out, I thought he was next up. That
was his album with like the brown background or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was cool.
But I'm actually, I'll actually listen to his new album, No Pressure. Kind of because now it's like Under Pressure, now it's No Pressure. So it's like that's pretty smart. I'll listen to it just because you pulling off your career with a nice album title, No Pressure, is tying back to your first one. So I'll listen to just off that. I also heard his production is getting produced by No ID. That's the one that produced Jay-Z's 444 album. So No ID is a legend in the game. He's been around for decades. So you got No ID on the beat. You better deliver. So yeah.
All right.
That's it on Logic. That's all I have to say. We got Nick Cannon.
Oh wait, you got anything to say about Logic?
Yeah, I do. I gotta confess.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Logic fan. I've been a Logic fan since high school, but he's been saying that he's gonna he's gonna retire for like his entire discography. So it's like some storyline. So I'm like, every album he drops, like, oh, is this the last one? So now I can't like take it seriously anymore. But since he's saying it's his last one, he made this like a big publicity stunt saying he's gonna retire, just had a kid, all that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know what to believe in that, because he's just gonna come back with a mixtape 3 years from now. I'm like, bro, like he's been saying this his last like 10 years. So, like, I'm not taking it seriously.
Yeah, I remember him singing this the last album too.
Oh shit. Yeah, I never
Uh,
cared to watch it like that.
That's it.
I never knew that. But I do know that rappers tend to, they come out on retiring and they come back. Lil Wayne did it. Jay-Z did it. Jay-Z
Yeah.
did it twice, if I'm not mistaken. So rappers in retirement are, it's a flimsy relationship for sure.
Right. Well,
Um,
I just want to say shout out to my homie Juan real quick. We used to flame him in high school because his two favorite rappers were Logic and G-Eazy. So
Don't play me, bro.
yes,
My best
bro.
friend Juan put me on the Logic, bro. I swear to God, bro.
Oh man, but yeah, if you watching this one, shout out to you, bro. I hope you're not listening to Logic anymore.
God damn.
no, I remember. No, Logic was really popular in high school for me too.
Yeah.
Bumping Logic for sure. Nick Cannon, and his little situation on his radio. I don't think I should I don't know, situation it sounds like I'm building a situation, but that's all I can call it right now. His predicament with his comments surrounding white people and Jewish people. So basically, if you guys don't know what happened, you guys listening, Nick Cannon came out and said, well, not came out, he had a radio show and a guest on talking about white people are savages, murderers, all that. And then went on to Jewish people, basically saying, I don't know, Ren, can you tap in what Ren said not about what Nick said about Jewish people?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch it, but I've heard I've gotten kind of the gist of it. He said some shit about Jewish people control the state, and typical anti-Semitic tropes about how Jewish people control all the money in the world and Illuminati and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think the thing that caught my attention most was when he got kicked off Wild 'N Out, and I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying before until that happened, because when you think of Wild 'N Out, you think of Nick Cannon. They're one and the same thing.
Yeah.
So for something like that to happen, and really people in high up in the industry really took offense to what he's saying, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen for his career in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really hear anything about his comments until he got taken off the Wild 'N Out. So I don't know. I don't think it was a result of outrage. I don't think people were really too mad about it at first, to be honest. And especially on my timeline, people have been saying did Nick Cannon say anything wrong? Which about the white people, no, not necessarily. White people are responsible for a lot of the killings on our planet now, and if you date back to crusades and shit, spreading their beliefs on everybody and killing people for having different beliefs on them. Yeah, I guess you can say that white people are savages. You're making a valid point. But for the Jewish point, I don't know. I think that's just a line that he shouldn't have crossed, and he should know better. And we were kind of talking about this earlier about how sure they don't face the same type of oppression as Black folks do, or even Muslim people in the U.S., but they do face anti-Semitic tropes that lead to hate crimes. These talking points do eventually lead to hate crimes. I believe there was a mass shooting last year against Jewish people, or the year before. So yeah, I don't know. I think he should have been more careful with his words and realize the bearing that his words really have, and educated himself. But I do feel I don't know, taking him off in a while, then that might have been a bit drastic.
So I'm reading up what he said. This is the best I could do. Basically, he talked about the Rothschilds, the centralized banking, the 13 families, the bloodlines that control everything, even outside of America. So yeah, this is definitely. You don't have to be Jewish to claim that this is anti-Semitic. I mean, he even said you can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people. So obviously, alluding to the Black Israelite is the real Israelites. You know what I mean? Yeah, these comments to me, again, white people, I'm gonna look at them and be like, yeah, I mean, everyone kind of says that, But then again, Jewish people, when you talk about centralized banking and things like that, uh, you have to be careful because again, Jewish people are are a marginalized community in America. Um, what else was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm sorry. Jewish people, because cause we were talking about this before we even recorded. Like, because you brought up, well, what do Jewish people experience systemically besides hate crimes, things like that? And it's like, well, like I didn't have an answer for it. I mean, I just looked it up. Like recently, the Trump administration is gonna let adoption agencies turn away Jewish people and LGBTQ same-sex couples. Um, I mean, that's one example. I can't think of any other examples, but um, I'll say this: I don't think it's right that we should talk about Jewish people in a demeaning way in the name of being pro-black. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. Nick Cannon unnecessarily started talking about this. I mean, yeah, this is. I feel like Nick Cannon should just do a little bit more reading. That's
Mhm.
just what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a lot of tweets that are like normalize accepting that there's stuff that you just don't know about. And like I gotta hold myself accountable for that. Like I don't know about a lot of the shit that Nick Cannon's talking about, and like how we talked about before this. Like I didn't know a lot of the ways that Jewish people are systemically oppressed, like today, outside of like the obvious like hate crimes that are reported. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's not really a route that anyone should go. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people have been called out for like anti-Semitic comments, like Deshaun Jackson, NFL player, wide receiver, was called out for it. And I don't know if this is real, but someone said he's going to like Auschwitz to like educate himself, which like I don't really find that necessary. Like, why do you need to go to a concentration camp to educate yourself? Like, you could just do that at home and read a few books. Um, but yeah. And then Charles Barkley, I don't know if y'all heard this, but
Mm,
Charles Barkley came for a hell of people's necks and was like, "Yo, you can't stop hate with hate." But then Deshaun Jackson, I mean not Deshaun Jackson, Stephen Jackson replied to him and was like, "Bro, you don't know me. Keep my name out of your mouth. Like, it's not sweet. Like, cause Stephen Jackson didn't say anything about Jewish people, but his name was mentioned,
mm,
and Charles Barkley was specifically talking about white people and Jewish people. So I think he was talking about how like Stephen Jackson is like asking white people to come forth and like it was like a call to action and shit. And I don't know, for some reason Charles Barkley took that as hate. But I really fucked with Stephen Jackson's response. He was like, bro, like you don't know what the fuck I do. Like under every single post, he's even like love for all who have love for all.
mhm.
Like that's his whole thing, you know? And so I feel like that's the last thing that Stephen Jackson was doing. And, you know, Charles Barkley was kind of saying some stupid shit. Charles Barkley really had me hot. I was like, bro. And Charles Barkley's actually a Republican too. I don't know if y'all have seen like clips of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he came out and said he's a Republican, or he has like Republican like tendencies.
I've seen like clips of him on YouTube saying that like what has the Democratic Party ever done for black people, which is fair, you know. Neither party has really done stuff for black people, but he was like, I stopped supporting the Democratic Party when I realized that they weren't doing anything for us. So I don't know if that means he doesn't identify with the party at all, or if he identifies with the Republicans.
Maybe I want to give him. I want to say. I hope he's independent, but yeah,
And
yeah.
if you look at Charles
I never.
Barkley's comments, oh,
Yeah, you want to go
yeah,
ahead?
if you look at Charles Barkley's comments on that post, bro, that's like the top 20 comments, all the ones that are getting all the likes were white people, and they're like, Charles gets it. Like, Charles gets it? Charles gets it? Like, why are you framing this from your own perspective? You know, you're not the one being oppressed right now. What do you mean Charles gets it? Because he's aligning with your views when you don't face the oppression? I don't know, bro. Like, for me, like, I remember Nas tweeted something where he's like, asked a question, when a lot of non-black people like my tweets. Now I tweeted that, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I do the same when I tweet something about like black liberation. I'm not necessarily looking for black people to like my shit, you know. But when I see a whole bunch of non-black people liking my shit, I'm like, hold on. And no black people, I'm like, hold on, did I say something wrong? Like, I got to reevaluate and educate myself on it a little more. And I don't know why Charles Barkley isn't doing that. Like, the only people agreeing with you are white people. Reevaluate, bro. Like, real shit, reevaluate.
Honestly, to me, I don't think he's gonna reevaluate, man. He's an old man.
Yeah.
Got millions. I don't think he's gonna read anytime soon. That's just me. I also do not agree with the whole, well, Democrats ain't doing anything, so I'm gonna go to Republicans. Well, it's like they're not doing anything either. So it's
Yeah.
like to me, I see Democrats as they give crumbs, and Republicans they don't do anything like at all.
Right.
That's how I look at it right now. So I'm gonna like, yeah, I do agree that Democrat Party, at least the leadership of it, they look at the black vote as like it's something that's guaranteed. You don't have to work for it, you know. So
Yeah.
I do agree with that. But at the same time, it's like their policies are way they're slightly better than the Republicans for sure. So I know we deviated off from the Nick Cannon thing. But yeah, I got any lasting thoughts on Nick Cannon and
Just
Sekou?
educate yourself.
I didn't read much for them.
Let me see. Hold on. I got all right. Now we got we're gonna get more political here. We're gonna talk about COVID-19 for a little bit. Talk about I wanted to bring it up. COVID-19, obviously we're living in it. That's our life right now. But I also wanted to talk about we see in the media they bring up that graph of the US, skyrocketing cases going up every day compared to the European countries. It's like low. They're on that curve. They went down. It's low numbers, but they never talk about like the Eastern countries. They never talk about, well, how did they respond to COVID? Because it seems like they're doing pretty well. You look at China, look at Vietnam, Laos. I don't know where Laos is on the map. I'm not gonna lie, but they're doing pretty well. I've seen it. I've seen the data. But I want to talk about China specifically because, as you know, the U.S. and China are at odds. Oh, my fault. That was my laptop. They are at odds with each other, and so obviously the media is not going to talk about China because the U.S. sees China as an adversary.
Mhm.
And I looked into I did some little research on China, what their policies were. So the epicenter was Wuhan. That's a city in China. That was where the breakout really happened. And what they did was they shut down the entire city, so no one was going anywhere at all. The roads were empty. Everyone was inside. You can't go outside. Um, Only one family member was allowed outside for every 3 days.
Mm.
So, you know what I mean? And then also what they did was they delivered food to every single person in Wuhan. So they designated people, community directors, what they call them. They got people so basically they buy food and then they branch out to different neighborhoods and give them food. They also had I want to say doctors or nurses. They went to each home and took their temperature and checked for COVID at that spot. And if there was like if they had a temperature that was like, oh, that's like alarming, then they came in for testing. And if you were around that person, then you also came in for testing. Even if you didn't have like a temperature that was noticeably high, you know what I mean? Or alarming. So these different policies where, people are coming to your house, checking your temperature. You have people delivering food and not going outside. Compare that to what we're doing here. I think it's pretty easy to see why our numbers are so high. And I also, they interviewed some of the citizens. Our mindset is different. We're individualistic. We say, look, if I'm good, then that's all that matters. But the Chinese people, their mindsets were, well, I'll be here for 14 days, but it's for the betterment of it's to make my community better. You know what I mean? So I'm going to suck it up and just stay in my room for 14 days if it means helping my community. You know what I mean? Oh, and one thing, I think this is really cool. China, they have factories, making cell phones and whatnot. they made the factories that make cell phones change that up and start making masks. So they went from 2 million masks when the breakout started. It was like about 8 million masks a day. By the time they changed the policy of the factories and what they're making, it went up to 50 million masks a day.
Oh wow.
So I mean that's the difference here, but no one's talking about it. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know if you guys have any takes on that. Any
Yeah, I feel like
that's a lot of info just throwing at you at once.
I feel like that's the reality of like living in a like a socialist state, you know, like because what they employ is it's not necessarily a democracy. While they do like elect some people, like lower level local officials, it's not necessarily democracy because you're not voting on a president or a prime minister or whatever. But they are a socialist country in that the government owns a lot of the means of production and that they're able to convert factories like that. They're able to convert cell phone factories into like mask making factories. And, you know, yeah, I think that I don't think we'll ever get to that point, the US, because we have like these American values so stuck in our minds, like liberalism, individualism, like you said, capitalism, like it's so stuck in us. But yeah, another thing that Wuhan did that I know about is like, and I feel like we should at least be doing this, is that they sanitize the streets twice a day.
Yeah.
So like, even though only one person per household is going out, even though that's not very many people going out, they still sanitize the streets twice a day. And if we're gonna let people go out, we need to sanitize shit. Like, come on now. Like that's the very least we can do if we want to open up markets. Yeah, that's all I got to say on it.
I think the reason that people, especially like the United States, kind of failed in containing coronavirus, like we've seen it almost like plateau in the last like month, but then it shot up again. Like we just last week, California like imposed lockdown on the bars and restaurants, everything. So it's going to be a lockdown again. And I think the reason we're not like succeeding is that we're trying to prioritize making money and capitalism over our health. We've just seen that recently with the United States preventing hospitals from reporting to the CDC. And I don't know how we're supposed to like live with that if the CDC is the main source and pipeline for contact tracing, virus vaccine research, and finding ideas on how to combat this virus, especially since like it's such a big country and we value our individuality. Some ways that I've seen different stores handling is using delivery and contactless delivery and only carry out, but you're still going to the store physically, going to touch the boxes that workers are touching, and leaving on the street every day. Like maybe at least 30% of people I've seen so far are not wearing masks. And I'm not gonna lie, I have slipped up sometimes. I've gone outside a couple of times and forget the mask. But I feel like we have to have like more structured help in trying to like combat this virus. Otherwise, it's not gonna end.
Yeah, it definitely has to come from the top down, not from the bottom up. You know, you can't rely on people to make their own decisions. That's not gonna work ever. I mean, you look at China, they work from the top down. They said, look, factory's gonna do this. You're gonna deploy community directors to give food to everybody. They also got medical teams from other provinces and shipped them to Wuhan and help, bolster, so we have more medical staff there. Military was also involved as well. So definitely has to come from the top down for sure. And I like the documentary. They didn't talk about it, but they showed the guy. He was quarantined for 14 days and did the testing, but then they came back to his house to more additional testing because they found in his record that actually like you need more testing. But he was like combative, But the doctor was like, look, like we don't really like it sucks you have to get tested, but we have to do it. Like we can't debate science. Like you see your records, like we have to test you, bro. Like this is serious. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. You talked about hospitals not reporting to CDC. That's a scary thing as well, because I can see it now. you can look at privatized think tanks or privatized groups, data groups, having their own data, and that's not going to be cool. Because what if they have their own interests, their own profit interests, things like that. So that could be deadly as well. Ren, do you have anything about hospitals not reporting to CDC or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it doesn't make sense to me at all. Like I don't know where the logic is coming from. Um, like if you're denying, I don't know, like Donald Trump, if he's denying that the CDC is doing anything good, then okay, let them do whatever they're doing. Like you're the man in control, whatever. At least let them report so that people who do believe in this shit can see the numbers. You know, I don't know. Like, I just think it's stupid. Like you're again, it's just like Donald Trump trying to hide shit from his citizens, which is really odd because he talks so much shit about China and says that they hide shit. But look at you, you're saying that if we don't test people, then not as many people will be positive, and you're saying that the CDC should not accept stuff from the hospitals or whatever. And it's like now you're just hiding numbers in the same way that you would talk shit about China and their lack of transparency before. It's very hypocritical. And I actually tweeted about this a while ago, but I think it's kind of shitty how like we didn't talk about this, but how the U.S. was trying to kick out international students.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, so like they're kicking out international students, which make up a large,
Yeah.
or significant portion of our economy. Like a lot of our engineers, computer science, stuff like that. Like I think it's like over 50% are immigrants.
Yeah.
So like they make up a large part of our economy, and Donald Trump is saying that he wants to preserve the economy, right? So he preserves the economy by opening up the markets, which I disagree with, right? But if you're following that line of logic, then it's unlogical to also kick out people that take up most of your high-paying jobs. Like if you care so much about the economy, why are you kicking out people that like make up so much of your high-paying jobs? And this isn't exclusive to international students either. I'm also talking about like immigrants that work lower-paying jobs, like Hispanic people, for example. Like, bro, like yes, they work low-paying jobs, and it's been proven that they're not really taking jobs away from white Americans like he claims to, and like how every other Republican claims to. But like, I don't know, you're trying to kick out people while also putting on a mask of wanting to preserve the economy when the facts just don't line up. And your logic isn't lining up in any situation. Like it's not consistent at all. Like if you're gonna be a conservative, at least let your fucking logic be consistent. Come on now. Yeah,
I think we should have seen some red flags when Donald Trump was like arguing with Fauci. He was with a White House medical advisor, and he's repeatedly been saying the right things to do and how to combat this virus. And if the president of the United States is gonna be at odds with the medical advisor during a pandemic, and it's at this stage with like this many people affected, we should have seen this coming at least to some extent.
agreed.
Yeah, man. Ren and Seiko just went on a 15-0 run. God damn.
Yeah.
We have points on points. Let's see. We can talk about what we're gonna. Oh, I have one last point. Me bringing up China, like I'm not saying that China's a perfect country. I don't think any country is perfect. They have their own problems. Dealing with, for example, they have there's racism going on in China between the Chinese and African people. That's been reported. People are getting turned away from restaurants and hotels and things of that nature. So that China definitely has its problems. So I just wanted to just talk about COVID and how China has responded to it and how other Eastern countries have responded to it as well. A little more political. We're going to talk about George Floyd, BLM protests. I was at a protest in my local area in Antioch. I was downtown. We marched to the police department. I'm not gonna lie, I was low-key, like I've seen footage, like at that point, so this protest was in June. Obviously you've seen so much footage on Twitter. I was actually kind of scared, like, yo, we're gonna be outside. You know what I mean? We're gonna be outside. But luckily there was no police there. It was a peaceful march. We didn't have to do anything, but we have our own problems, man. I learned so much about my city I did not know about. You know, our budget is messed up. We hired a killer cop 2 months ago. He's in the department right now. So that was really more about what the process was about. Just getting out the killer cop that was hired. His name is Michael Malone, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Honestly, the whole what's been going on, I don't like driving anymore. I never liked driving, but driving now, it's like, oh, like I have to be outside and risk getting caught up in something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but that's just how I feel about it. Obviously, George Floyd should have never had his life taken away. But I also want to talk about Breonna Taylor as well, because no one talks about her. I mean, not as much as George Floyd. You see CNN. I saw CNN. They were talking about Black men being killed by police, and it's like that you're not talking about. You know, it's not just men. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Women, non-binary people. Like, come on now.
So, yeah. I don't know. I don't think we can go too deep into it. I mean, how deep do you guys want to go into VLM protests and what's been going on? I want to, because we can go deep.
I mean, I feel like it needs to be said. Like I said earlier, we need to protect Black women. Too often, they're not, really given the same attention. Like you were saying, how Breonna Taylor's not getting the same attention as George Floyd. And like even now, despite, I don't know, like not saying that anything's right, like okay with the George Floyd situation yet, but they did at least arrest the cop at first, right? We haven't gotten any of that with Breonna Taylor, any of that, and they're still talking about only Black men being killed. Which yes, Black men are killed a lot, but let's not take away from Black women being killed, Black non-binary people being killed, and especially Black trans people being killed, because they're killed at a higher rate than damn near anybody else in this country. So I don't know. It's just, I feel like just everybody can do a better job about, like uplifting Black trans, Black non-binary, and Black women voices. Like I personally am struggling a little bit with like not knowing what else I can do. Like, again, I'm still signing a petition that comes my way. I'm still donating whenever, I get my paycheck. But yeah, I don't know. I guess just if you are doing that and if you're able to go to protests and you are going to protest, then I really think the only other thing that we can do is, emailing and calling representatives. And yeah, that's all I can really think of. And another thing that I want to say is that I saw a tweet that said, people will donate to organizations before they donate to someone struggling right in front of them. And I've seen that a lot. Like I've seen people at UCSB like tweeting GoFundMe's and stuff. It's like a trans woman needs like financial assistance for gender assignment surgery, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no retweets or nobody donating. Whereas you see like an abstract organization who nobody knows who their money is actually going to. You just like hear about it one day and like, they get like 1 million retweets or like 500,000 retweets, but we're not helping the people in our communities. And I think that's where we have the most power, not only in terms of like donating and stuff, but also, again, I'm kind of rambling now, but local politics, like we have the most power in the communities closest to us. So I hear a lot of people talking, we're going to talk about this eventually with like Joe Biden, Donald Trump, but like a lot of people focus on the November elections and the presidential elections, but we need to also focus on local politics and, community involvement. And yeah, damn, that's a lot to say.
Yeah. 15-0 run, we need a timeout. Let's go to Sekou,
bro. One thing I wanted to add was, don't leave this activism only on Black women, because we've seen that Black women aren't protected enough, and once they put themselves out on the front line, they're extremely vulnerable, because they're going to be seen as loud or that have that same credibility as a black man being an activist. We've seen that with Latoya. She was young. She was our age. She's college age. She was a prominent activist, and then she tweeted that she needed help, and then we found her assaulted, and she lost her life. And that was within the span of 1 week, you know, and that's a really scary reality that we have to live with and change. And it's on us to be accountable, to make change ourselves. Especially, I like what Rin was saying in helping the community around us, because that's what we have the most power. So, yeah.
I was you know, it can get discouraging when you see that the media isn't reporting on the protests going on in the country. And to be honest, I fell into that trap. You know what I mean? Like, not as I don't want to say the trap, but it was like I fell into that cycle where it's like, well, they're not talking about it. And I also almost believe that it's not even the protests not even going on anymore. And then I look on social media, it's like Portland's still going up. Last night they were going up. I heard they burned down a police union building, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Portland that did that. But it's not being reported anywhere.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter. But yeah, it can get discouraging. I think once you see that, once you feel that discouragement, I think it's important to I mean, donating is great. That's all great. Donating is great, getting the word out, but then also getting in tune with, you know, your non-black friends, your white friends, tapping in like, hey, that's not cool to say. Hey, this is why, you know what I mean? If you want to educate, I mean, that's on you, you know what I mean? But, you know, like, hey, that's not cool, all that. And non-black people, you know what I mean? You gotta, if you know it's wrong, you know, call them out.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I was talking about educating. I feel like too often we expect Black people to educate others on, you know, their own oppression. You know, that's putting an educational burden on them. I think that's the right word. I don't really know, but I feel like as non-Black people who are at least somewhat aware of what's going on, and have Black people in their circles, and you know, see the arguments for Black Lives Matter, it's really on us to, you know, I feel like as a non-Black person and someone who strives to be a supportive entity for the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like it's on me and people like me to educate the people around them and not expect Black people to do it, you know? Like, not to say that we shouldn't be uplifting Black voices. Like, when you hear a Black voice speak, you know, uplift it, like dead ass. Like, don't try to, like, I heard Elise say this, shout out Elise, at the vigil. She was talking about how, you know, she hates how non-Black people will see something that a Black person says and then rephrase it and say it again in their own post, when it's like, you could have just retweeted what this Black person said. Like, you're losing some of the message that they had. So I feel like at the same time of doing that and uplifting Black voices, we also need to, you know, if you don't have the access to that, to those voices, like, say, if you talk to someone person to person, do your best to educate them, you know. Yeah, I feel like non-Black people really need to step up and educate, and not virtue signaling, because I feel like that can often be misconstrued for educating. Like, if you know you're already in super liberal circles, you educating isn't going to do as much as if you reach out to people who aren't as knowledgeable as you. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Quick little story. This is touching on education and stuff like that. Towards the end of my second year, I signed up to be a TA, and I made it to the interview process. So it's like, I don't know if you guys went through the TA process, basically, and how they interview you. Basically, you have like candidates, and you group you in these different candidates, and you go through like a field day, I guess, of different tasks, different things, right? There was one task where they give all the candidates a list of hypothetical TA candidates, right? So one candidate was perfect, 4.0, blah, blah, blah. The list was about five people, five hypotheticals. One of them was, this is a person that was, she went to jail for drug possession, but she got out. Um, but she's in the community, right? She's doing wonderful things for the community, but she has a drug possession on her name, right? That's on her record. I put her at the second highest, right? Number one's a perfect person, and then number two was the drug girl with the drug possession, but she's in the community doing all this work. Me being like the only black guy, right? So all the white people had the drug possession girl at the bottom of the list, and it came to me. So I'm like, I argued like, hey, yeah, it's a drug possession, right? Like it's a like she possessed drugs, like she wasn't like dealing or even like she just had it on her, but she's in the community, and like before it got to me, other white people were like, oh, but she's in, she did drugs, so it's like nah, she's not gonna be a good TA. But I was like, oh, like, but she, you know, and then I went into this whole like we talked about drug crimes during it wasn't even my fault. It was RA, my fault, not TA, RA. RA. I was going for an RA position, talking about RAs. And I said, yeah, this RA deserves to be in this position because she does community work. And we went into this whole thing about drug crimes and how it affects people's lives. And it looked like people weren't understanding where I was coming from. You know what I mean? I had to really like sit there during a fucking interview process, an RA interview process, tell these white people like, yo, I only put her up there because she did community work, regardless of the drug crime. It was non-violent, all that stuff. And I remember sitting in the RA, like I almost started crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, like how do you not see like this? This is wrong. Like that's not a
Yeah.
good view to have. But yeah, that was so from that day, from that day, I was like, nah, like I'm not gonna start educating like white people and like what's been going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Did the interviewers like step in at all?
Um. The funny thing is, there were the interviewers were like black. There was
Uh-huh.
I think it was two black people and one like Asian or I don't know another white person. But I do remember one of them was black, or maybe two of them. And they had these faces like, oh shit, like, and then they kind of just switched topic after that, like, all right, just turn in your forms, move on to the next thing. And I just had a bad day, like, yo, like, mind you, I wasn't even dressed for the interview, like, I didn't have clothes for it, like, I was not prepared at all. But I tried my best, try to, set myself up like, yo, like, I can do the work. I know I'm not dressed for it. I got like slacks and like a collar t-shirt. It's not like these, but like, I was like, bruh, like, y'all think like this?
Yeah, yeah.
You really took that drug crime into consideration and said, yeah, she can't be an RA because she has a drug crime, a non-violent one, by the way. Like it said, like yo, she's doing community work, and that really upset me. Like how could you not see her as valuable? Like she, and I argued like, yo, she can talk about she can do events for her hall about drugs, being safe around drugs because she's dealt with them.
Yeah.
That's a fucking asset right there. Like how can
Mhm.
you not see all this? I made all these arguments.
Yeah.
And like the white people were just looking at me like, shit. Like I don't think they understood, bro. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the part that really like discouraged me. Not even like explaining it, but like I think I cried because it's like in front of these people, like, bro, like they don't see it. They just don't understand it. So yeah.
Yeah. What happens when, I don't know, I feel like in the US or just in general, morality is somewhat tied to the law for some reason when that's not necessarily true. Like just because you're guilty of a crime doesn't make you a bad person. It can like you know I don't know if y'all remember reading like the letter from Birmingham jail, and like how Martin Luther King talks about unjust laws and how laws can be wrong sometimes. And I'm sure we're gonna go into this later too, but like also Representative John Lewis, and how he passed away. Like he would always talk about good trouble and how sometimes it's okay to cause trouble because these laws aren't always just and they're not always here to protect us. Sometimes they hurt us more than they help us. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't get how people can't see that a non-violent drug possession really has no bearing on the quality of your life as a human being and your ability to do a job. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, man. Next topic, man. We got Angela Davis voting for Biden. It's a lot of nuance in this one, but you know, some people don't give it that nuance, so we're here to do that. Angela Davis came out basically explaining why she's voting for Biden. My understanding of it and how I read it was voting for Biden isn't about the purpose behind voting is to, in this election specifically, is to see who's going to make it easier for the people on the ground, the grassroots organizations, the grassroots people, the activists, the ones on the ground. Who's going to make, which president is going to make it easier for us to organize and mobilize and act. That's my understanding of what Angela Davis's reasoning behind voting for Biden was. Hey, I'm only saying vote for Biden. If you're going to do electoral politics, vote, because that person's going to make it easier for us to organize and protest and all these things. And that person is Biden. And I looked at that because look, before Angela Davis came out, I was like, bro, I'm not voting in 2020. Like, I live in Cali anyway. Like, this thing's rigged. F all this. Like, But once I saw Angela Davis come out and like had that reason, I said, all right, I actually thought about it, like, yo, like, and I was actually listening to Hella Block podcast and it had the same thing, like, not about this situation, but like, if you're like, vote for Bernie because he makes it easier for us to organize. You know what I mean? This is back, they said this back when Bernie was in the race, like, vote for Bernie because they make it easier for us to organize, not because they're going to give us all the solutions and fix the problems, because these problems are going to keep going. It's not going to be fixed in one term, but make it easier for us to organize and all these other things. So, but some people on Twitter, they want to take Angela Davis's, I don't even think it's an endorsement. It's just more of an explanation. Like, they took it as an endorsement of Biden. Like, see, a revolutionary came out and voted for Biden, and I don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about verified people on Twitter using her name to shame people into voting for Biden?
I think we should blast the name. I think we should blast the name. It's DIWE. I don't know how you say that, so I don't want to mispronounce it. But yeah, so there's some flawed ass logic right there. That's a very simplistic. Yeah, it's very simplistic logic. It's really not that simple, you know. She's trying to oversimplify things. Angela Davis is voting out of damage control, really. Like, she's voting for Biden out of damage control because he is the best option that we have. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to vote for Biden. Like, some people, for me, like, I see it this way. You can't tell the survivor to vote for the better of two sexual assaulters. Like, that's, you can't do that. Like, so her saying that, like, what do you know that Angela Davis doesn't know? You don't have to know anything that Angela Davis doesn't know. You have your lived experiences. You don't want to vote for someone who, you know, I don't know, is just a shitty person. Like, just because someone's better than someone else doesn't mean that you have to like them. Just because Donald Trump is explicit in his racism doesn't mean that we have to like Biden's implicit racism more. That we have to like Biden by his 1994 crime bill, despite his support of busing and, you know, all of these different things, him being friends with segregationists. Like, just because he's better than Donald Trump doesn't mean that we have to vote for him. But saying that, I do definitely agree with Angela Davis's logic. She's not telling people to get out and vote for Biden. She's not saying you have to vote for Biden. She's just saying her own reasoning. And I completely respect that. Her reasoning makes sense.
Yeah.
But to boil it down to something as like Angela Davis would never say that, I'm sure. That, like, what do you know that I don't know? Like, what? It's so, I don't know. It's just disingenuous, really, is what it is. It's just boiling down. It's making a nuanced argument much simpler than it can be.
I think it's dangerous that this person can say that and have a verified account, because I'm going to tweet and start like sorry, at like 100,000 likes, and like so people have already like some kind of notion that's like, oh, we should listen to her because she's verified. We have to listen to her because she's had a lot of likes.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when you're voting for Biden or Trump, we already have that. We already feel like our choice has been taken away because we don't want to vote for them anyway.
Yeah.
People were already pushing for Bernie because he was like that. Oh, we have a choice between Bernie and Biden. But now that it's gone, it feels like we have to accept whatever happens next, and that's gonna be scary for survivors because they already had to go through that trauma of not being able to choose what they go through.
Mm-hmm.
And Angela Davis is, I feel like she's going into like uncharted territory for these Black revolutionaries supporting candidates who, in the past, literally lived to discriminate and marginalize Black people. And it kind of seems like it's counterintuitive for her and the future of Black people to see someone who was a beacon of hope in that past and supporting someone like Biden. But at a time like this, when we're like what, like 5-6 months away from the election, and things don't seem to be looking up, and it's really disheartening for me to see that.
Yeah, her name is Z-Way. That's the name. That's the person that tweeted. Angela Davis is voting for Biden. What do you know that she doesn't know? Has over 100,000 retweet, 100,000 likes and 20,000 retweets. So millions of people have seen it by now.
Yeah.
I'm sure white liberals have, I've seen that and taken that and ran with it as well. But yeah, Seiko, you brought up a great point. Like once niggas see like a verified check on the Twitter, it's gonna be like, yo, people are actually gonna listen to you. So, yeah, it sucks. I mean, this is Twitter. This is what they do. Like people just do it for clout.
I know I've gone back and forth on this a lot, especially on Twitter, like whether I'm voting for Biden or if I'm not. I think up until a couple of days ago, it was that I'm either not gonna vote in the 2020 election, or I'm gonna write in Bernie, or I'm gonna vote Green Party, because again, we are in California and our vote really doesn't matter because we're gonna elect Biden, and none of our electoral votes in the college are gonna go to Republicans no matter what, basically. But I'm kind of reconsidering that because I saw this tweet about the Unity Task Force, which I didn't know about at all. But apparently it's a thing that the Democratic Party does that where like the losing party and the winning party, they kind of band together and they develop policy strategies for the November nomination together. So that's kind of why after we saw Bernie lose in the last time with Hillary Clinton, we saw Hillary Clinton really become more progressive up until like the last few weeks, and she scaled things back a lot. But yeah, she was becoming a lot more progressive, and we have seen that with Biden too.
Yeah,
like he's definitely become a lot more progressive. And so what this Unity Task Force does, they make 6 main committees, each with a leader from the progressive and moderate ends of the party, and a few key leaders are John Kerry and AOC. John Kerry is not necessarily a progressive, but in terms of the establishment, he is one of the better establishment people, as far as I know. Like, I don't know everything about the dude, but a few of the topics that they're discussing are climate change, criminal justice, the economy, education, healthcare, and immigration. And so basically, the progressive leaders have been making a couple pushes to the left. Like, they've gotten Biden to shift further away from his views on the 1994 crime bill, like stop like continuing his support of it. They've gotten behind free public college for families earning less than $125,000. They've gotten behind holistic tests rather than standardized ones for like getting into college and shit. Which, like, I don't know, like I would have never thought that would have happened. Like even with the progressive, like that just seems like something that was never even on an agenda. And the fact that they're going down to things like as simple as this, as a Unity Task Force, that's kind of like impressive. And then, like for climate change, they want to shift Biden's original deadline on key climate policies from 2050 to 2035. So now he has the same like immediate goals that like Bernie did. So Biden is getting pushed pretty far to the left. And while he is a shitty person and he has a very shitty past, I don't know. I feel like I can trust the people behind him enough to do a solid job of keeping him on track. Hopefully, like
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
I heard he's putting in 2 trillion into climate change. That the one that's going into 15 years, what, 2035?
yeah,
Yeah, he's putting in 2 trillion. I mean, this is great. Great stuff. I hope I only look. We're us bringing up these positive politics, not us saying, "Hey, this is like you should vote for him," but it's just letting you know this is just informing you guys what's going on.
yeah,
Um, I've considered like I've definitely after Angela Davis's comments about voting, I've definitely
yeah,
reconsidered my stance on voting this year. Um, I just pray that Biden sticks to what he's doing. I hope he's not a status quo person. You know, I hope he does something. You know, like I said earlier in the podcast, they give us crumbs. I hope he give us
yeah,
like a piece of bread this time. You know, like give us a piece of bread. And that's
yeah,
sad asking for that because I should be asking for the loaf, but
yeah, exactly.
but you know, but it's where we are.
Yeah, I really like that point that you brought up about like voting for the person that helps us best organize.
Yeah.
Like I never really thought about it that way, and I don't know. Like just in this podcast alone, like I'm not saying I'm voting for Biden because I really don't know still, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely trending more towards that way now. But you'll never catch me being a vote blue no matter who
Yeah.
type.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make it very clear that none of us are for that shit.
Please.
Yeah.
You got anything? You got anything, Sekou?
No, just hopefully we don't have to be forced to make that decision, but at that point, it's binary choice at this point. So we have to accept what's coming in November, and hopefully he doesn't get reelected. Pretty much.
Facts. We got Kanye running in 2020. Keeping on the 2020 race, we got Kanye in the race. Sekou, we're gonna start you off first because you know you've been getting the second on damn near every topic. So Sekou, you gonna start off with this Kanye?
All right. So Kanye is back in the news again. He recently announced his presidential bid, and I don't know why he's doing this because he's super late for this. He's missed most deadlines for registering in states, and I read recently that he tried to nominate himself or submit a bid in Illinois or something like that, and so he's definitely not gonna be on the ballot for most states. And he was already going to be supporting Donald Trump in the past. So the disconnect doesn't make any sense. And I see the meme and like voting for Kanye because like, oh, any vote for Donald Trump or Biden is not. I'm not gonna get that vote. They're gonna vote for Kanye, but I feel like it's just a waste of time to vote for him. And I don't know what his like mental state is, but it's not healthy right now. And the people behind him have to like stop him. And it's getting kind of scary because like what like Kanye West represents all of hip hop pretty much, and or at least he's a key figure in hip hop. And today, I don't know if y'all saw this on Twitter, he said that Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. They just went to do masters. I'm like, bro, what? This guy's
He had
on
a
a
rally.
campaign trail. Like, what is he smoking right now? And why is he by himself doing this shit? Someone needs to stop him.
Yeah, he had a whole rally
Nothing.
today. You know, he said that comment about Harriet Tubman never freeing the slaves, but with something working for the white man, I believe is what he said.
Mm.
It's like at this point, I'm not even sure we can even use the mental health angle of it anymore. You know, he's repeatedly because I think even using the mental health angle thing is disrespectful to people with real mental health issues. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, mental, you know, people, you know, mental illness, they have, you know, troubles of their own, but it's like, my God, I'm pretty sure even a person with mental illness knows what's wrong and what's right. So when people bring up, oh, Kanye's mentally ill anyway, or he's on meds, I feel like that kind of downplays what, you know, what people with mental illness go through, you know?
Exactly.
Um, So I'm seeing Kanye today with his rally. He's talking about abortion and like, oh, I saved my daughter because Kim wanted an abortion, but came in and stopped it because I looked at my dad and my dad wanted to abort me, but my mom saved me. Like, and he's wearing a security really bulletproof vest. It's like, dude.
So yeah.
And I saw this one video. This video, this person was really up close to Kanye. She was like right there. And once that comment came out, Harriet Tubman never freed the slaves. She was like, "Oh no, we gotta go. We gotta go." That's what she said. Bro, I was dead laughing, bro. Let me see if I can find it. But Ren, you can go ahead and take over.
Bro, so I've actually seen some relatively progressive people tweet support of Kanye West.
Wait, hold on. I got the video. I found it.
So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people. Yo, we leaving right now.
We leave right now.
Yo, we leaving right now.
Oh my
God.
Go ahead, bro.
But yeah, so this isn't anyone I follow, but like I saw someone tweet something about like, do we trust Kanye West or Biden more to help like liberate Black folks? I don't know who I trust more. Like, I'm not endorsing Kanye, but like again, this is just picking between the lesser of two evils. 3 evils now.
They're giving Kanye the Trump treatment, like, oh well, Kanye was never a politician, so he must be cooler than Biden. That's the only reason why I think people are saying he's cool, because like, well, they give him the Trump logic, like, well, he's never been in office, so he must be a good guy. He's an outsider,
Yeah,
regular guy, with money, so let's give him a chance. It's like, nah, like if you look, he doesn't even have a policy out. He has no goals, no policy. So
I know he hit Planned Parenthood. He said that like white people, like like the eugenics and everything, which is inaccurate. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. And Chance the Rapper, you got
Oh, yeah.
you got 24 hours to respond. I don't think he's tweeted yet. I've been checking, but if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't said anything about this recent. And you know how Chance the Rapper is always, he's gonna come to bat for Kanye.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through his Twitter, and he hasn't.
Wait, Jude, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You know that thing that you said about voting for who allows people to mobilize better? Do you hypothetically think that, like, say if voting for Kanye does not decrease or increase our chance of Trump ending up in office, right? Do you trust Kanye more than Biden to allow people to better mobilize? Like, leave all the politics out of it. If you could insert one of those 3 into the presidency, who do you think would?
Like, when you say politics, do you mean like, so like excuse like Joe Biden's record or?
Well, no, leave all like the elections out of it. Like, just say like.
All right, for sure. All right. I say that. Oh God, because I look at them at the same level when it comes to who's gonna give us a better chance at mobilizing. I see them like, this is Kanye, Joe Biden, and then this Trump where like he's not even on the screen. You know what I mean? So I do think Kanye is at the same level as Joe Biden when it comes to making it easier to organize. That's how I see it. But then I'm also scared because like he talks about black on black crime, and he's talking about abortion and all these other, these black. When he talks about black issues like black on black crime, I get worried. So like there's stuff like that where it's like maybe he's like Joe Biden than here, but honestly, right now I'm looking at the same. But he has to be more clear in his stance so I can get a better picture of who I'd want more in office.
See, the way I see it is, Kanye West might be the better president at helping, at least allowing a platform for Black people to find their liberation.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I see him being more aggressive in terms of like the rights that women have over their own body, like abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like he's anti-abortion, and like shit, who knows? Because we know Kanye is super religious, he might just be like homophobic. He might be homophobic. He might be transphobic, which Biden might be too. But because he has the Democratic Party behind him, he won't say that shit and he won't vote for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And because Kanye West is like, he loves going against the grain so much. Like, who knows about his views on climate change and shit? Shit like that. So I feel like personally, like Kanye West might be better at helping Black people in this country, but he will definitely degrade the lives of pretty much every other marginalized group compared to what Joe Biden would do. Like, I mean, in terms of the crime bill, I trust Kanye West much more than I trust Joe Biden. You know?
Yeah.
Because he did help, like, the few things that positive things that Trump has done in terms of like backtracking on the crime bill. Kanye West did play a role in that, and I trust Kanye West in terms of that. But anything else, hell no. Like,
I think we need to look at it like holistically, because while we want Kanye to help Black people, like he's gonna be representing the United States. Like he might. I'm not saying like we're gonna elect him, but like I'm trying to imagine the inauguration right now, like him bringing Kim K up the steps with like Northwest and Southwest and all of them, and like it seems like a dream. Like it seems like something that shouldn't happen. Like I feel like we shouldn't be like even I don't know, like I feel we shouldn't be like giving like that benefit of that time, because he's gonna be representing us in like foreign affairs, domestic affairs. Like imagine how he's gonna handle NAFTA. Imagine how he's gonna handle the UN. He's gonna call out Russia and like over some bullshit. And I feel like him as a whole, as a president, is not a good idea anyway. I feel like he's just doing it for fun. And I feel like he's doing it for the same reason that Trump did. It was like, this might be cool. I haven't really experienced, but I'll try anyway. And I feel like that's his reason right now. And it's probably not safe for like anybody.
Definitely.
So
wait, you said Northwest is Southwest. Does he really have a baby named South?
man, I was just playing. Like that's I don't think he has a baby named South. Is it like Saint West or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I was like, yeah, do they have another kid, bro? Like, am I missing this? Oh shit.
I mean, I think I'll end the segment with this, that when you got a lot of money, you tend to do a lot of stupid shit. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Next one is it's a heavy one. We got man, I don't know how I'm gonna introduce this topic, but we got John Lewis, recent passing, passed away Friday night at the age of 80. Civil rights activist, civil rights icon, marched down on I believe Selma, the bridge down in Selma, I believe. And then went on to be a congressman, and been fighting for us ever since in Congress.
My bad.
Disrespectful, bro. We're talking about John Lewis. No, I'm playing. But honestly, John Lewis, I learned a lot about him in the last 24 hours. But the thing that struck me the most was when, he's 80 years old. He's been in Congress for, I think before he got cancer. He got cancer, pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, I think so.
He's been in office, and then he had to go into hospice care. But the thing that got me was like in 2013, when the Supreme Court basically struck down the Voting Rights Act, made it basically ineffective. So the South can change their own like laws without federal approval. So basically, he had to stay in office and then continue to fight that very decision that the Supreme Court did. And that, like, I was like, bro, like, imagine you're going into your 70s and you're still like, you have to fight the same fight.
Yeah.
You got the Voting Rights Act passed in the 60s, and then 50 years later, the Supreme Court decides, well, the South doesn't need federal approval. Now it's like John Lewis looking at that like, bruh,
Yeah.
like, just because most of our people died and we're not in the streets like that doesn't mean, like, it's like, bro, like it must have been demoralizing having to fight on national television, like, oh yeah, I have to go fight this because the Supreme Court wants to be a bitch. So yeah, that's all I got, man. Did you guys any thoughts on John Lewis?
Just kind of want to say something real quick about I've seen a lot of tweets talking about, like, I get praising John Lewis in terms of like how he's always been fighting for, you know, Black people. I saw this tweet where it was like a picture of him marching with Martin Luther King and a picture of him marching with his recent Black Lives Matter protest. But it feels like it's a glorification of that, you know? Like it feels like a little wrong, because like, why are we happy that he was fighting for this stuff? Like, why are we happy that he was fighting for this stuff when he shouldn't have had to fight for this stuff still? You know, like, he fought for this shit how many years ago now? Like 60 years ago? 60 years ago, he was fighting for this shit. And that's a long life, bro. At 20 years old, I think his first arrest was at 16 years old. And he was alongside Martin Luther King at 20 years old. And then up until he was 80 years old, he was fighting for the same fucking reasons, bro. Like, I don't know, like, people were celebrating that, and I get it, because he did do a lot for the Black community, but I feel like I should piss people off, because it pissed me off, bro. I was reading into it. I was like, how is this shit still going on when we have people that are still alive from back then that have seen progress only for all the progress to be deleted? Like, that's disappointing as fuck. And like, I did see another tweet that had another perspective, and it was like, he got to see like the biggest protest that the U.S. has ever seen, that the world has ever seen, and the Black Lives Matter protest. So at least he got to see, like while things have tracked back a lot over time, he got to see like hope for change to happen again before we pass away.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good thing, but it sucks that he even had to be in the position that change didn't already happen from him the first time he fought. But yeah, man, rest in peace. A real life hero, a civil rights giant, bigger than life, honestly. Like, that is insane that we have someone, because it seems like Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement was so long ago. And it's crazy that we had such an integral part, one of the original 12 freedom fighters, that was still alive in 2020 and still in Congress. That's just insane to me.
I think that John Lewis is supposed to be the framework and the dream that MLK was looking for. He wanted to see representation. He wanted to see justice, and John Lewis embodied that. He represents someone being incarcerated, someone given that second chance, someone given that chance to get their education, someone given that chance to run for office and then hold office for so long, and still hold influence in office. Because I'm not sure what like the politics of congressman, inter-congressman relationships is, but he has that permanent credibility forever, and people go to him for certain issues. And I feel like we lost a pillar, and it's up to the future to have more substantial Black leaders in Congress. So he shouldn't be the only one. And I think John Lewis is who Martin Luther King would have been. You know, I feel like he would have run for office. He would have, not saying he would have run for president, but that would have been the be all and end all dream.
Yeah.
And he's the embodiment of that. And I hope he rests in peace. And I hope we see more John Lewis's.
Yeah. I saw a tweet. I don't know who said this, but they were like, it's not every day. It's not every Black activist or someone from that time gets to live and actually live up to their old age. You know, a lot of people died young, like Fred Hampton's of the world, Olivia Toyin, right? 19 years old she was. I think that Fred Hampton was 21. So you know, those people, you know, doing the work, your life is at risk every day. It's just what it is, what it is. And to live up to 80, it's a blessing for a guy like him. So yeah, rest in power to John Lewis, man. We got more sad stuff. It's kind of sad. We got Pop Smoke and Juice Wrld. Their albums dropped. Almost I think a week apart, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. What you guys think about it? Yeah, you guys can get any takes?
Pop Smoke's album, I didn't listen to Juice Smoke, but Pop Smoke was solid. It was different than I was expecting, for sure. It didn't have like the same Pop Smoke sound. 3 Quavo features was interesting, but that was
I actually enjoyed it.
No, I did too.
All
But
three
at
of
first
them.
I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit, bro? 3 Quavo features.
I was worried too, but I actually enjoyed it. But yeah,
They definitely had some chemistry. So sad to know that, you know, we won't be seeing more of that chemistry. But yeah, that shit was pretty good. Wasn't as good as his last Meet the Woo 2 Deluxe, but you know, still very solid.
Listening to Juice Wrld and Pop like so soon after they die is a very weird experience, because a lot of the references to like them like not living long or them living the life they live is it's scary to see it like come true. You know, Juice Wrld rapped about taking perks and drinking lean until he passes out, or drinking or taking all these drugs, and him not gonna live past 21. And it came true, and it's like really heartbreaking. But he speaks for like our generation pretty much, and him dying so young and him being so close to our age, it's very scary. And I feel like he will always be remembered. And I think I like Pop's album the most compared to both two. It showed that he was gonna change in the future and like have some like versatility in his sound. Beat the Woo was definitely the Pop Smoke I know, but the one from his most recent album is something. Oh shit, am I frozen?
You were frozen for a bit. You're good now.
you're good. You're good.
Oh shit. Okay, damn. What was I saying? Now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I really enjoyed Juice's album, and I hope to continue listening to him. I always will. And may they rest in peace.
Man, I have a different take. I thought Pop Smoke's album was the best thing I heard from this discography, bro. Like, I'm not gonna cap. I enjoyed damn near every song. Like, the song surprised me. Like, when I heard Meet the Woo 2, I was like, sounds like Meet the Woo, but it's cool. It's enjoyable. I'll play back some of the songs like Element, Shake the Room, I believe was on that one as well. But man, Pop Smoke's what's the album called? I'm sorry. What's the album called?
Love.
Something about stars and
Stars, People, Moon, I don't know. Above the Stars, something like that. But that album, man, my God, like, yo, I was floored. Like, I was like, bro, this is the best thing I've heard from this dude. And
Shoot
like,
for the stars, aim for the moon. Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon.
Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. All right. And Quavo's features, I was worried. I looked at the track list. I was like, yo, the track list is a little shaky. You got 3 Quavo features, but hey, I actually enjoyed all 3 Quavo features. Like, yo, they have chemistry, like Ren said. They Future did this thing on snitching. And I was like, man, every feature was on point. Only thing I wasn't really fucking with was I think it was Carol G. Started singing in Spanish. I wasn't really fucking with it, but I got the point of the song, right? I got the point. And of course he had to end the song with was it Dior? And the album Dior.
Yeah.
That was it was a bittersweet ending for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I gave it a 10, bro. I was like, yo, this Pop Smoke is great. Honestly, I haven't listened to Juice WRLD's album. I was never really in tune with Juice WRLD, to be honest, but I know he has influenced a lot of people around the world. But I'll definitely check out his album. I know my brother's been begging me to listen to the album. Honestly, I wish I had a take on it, but I don't have a take on Juice WRLD's album. But from what I've been hearing, his album was also pretty solid. So power to the both of them. Rest in power, Pop Smoke and Juice WRLD. Oh, by the way, 50 Cent did a great job executive producing this whole thing. I wasn't worried because I was like, I know 50 Cent's a clown. We clown 50 Cent a lot. When people were like, oh, he's gonna executive produce it, I was like, well, music-wise, they have the same voice.
Yeah.
So it's like, off that, I was like, I think he's actually the perfect guy to be in that position. So I was like, yeah, this could work. This could work. And it did. So shout out to him, man.
Hey, that little Many Men remix thing on the
Yeah, yeah.
That shit was heat, bro. Oh, man, I wasn't expecting it, but that was nice. And he's releasing a bonus too, I believe. Like a
deluxe?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard he's dropping another tape, no?
Yeah.
Or they're dropping another one. I'm excited for that one too.
Hopefully more New York rappers on the deluxe.
I seen 5E, 50.
Oh, 50
Yeah. On there. I don't remember too many the features, but for sure he's on there. Yeah, that's all I got, man. We can talk about the NBA and the bubble, Lakers point guard situation, all that stuff. We're gonna talk about that for a minute. So we all know NBA is in Orlando with the bubble. All playoff teams, the ones that are vying for a playoff spot, are all there. So if you're a lottery team, you're not there, basically. I think the most interesting I saw it, one of the interesting things I learned about the bubble was that they put teams based on how good they were. So the top 4 teams have their own thing, and then they're seeded from 4 through 8 have their own thing. And then the non-playoff teams, the ones that have to fight for the playoff spot, they have their own thing.
That shit's kind of funny, bro.
Damn.
And they're in different tiers of like Disney hotels. Like I think like the Lakers and all them are in like the newest hotels.
Yeah, they got the good shit.
Yeah. And it was LeBron that vied for that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, he's the king, so
you know he's Tower.
Go James.
Go James. That's why he's the best player in the world, bro.
This shit is hilarious.
Do we have any predictions? Do we have?
Oh yeah. Let's kick it off with bold predictions. Anybody got any bold predictions?
No, let's start with Rin, you got it, bro. No, you got the bold one, bro. Let's start with
For real.
All right. So the way that the bracket's looking right now, it's gonna be so obviously out of the West, I'm taking the Lakers, right?
Right.
Because you're not gonna catch me saying that the Clippers are gonna beat the Lakers ever. Even if they're up 3-0, I'm not ever gonna say that the Clippers are gonna win. All right. So
not ever.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the East Coast is really the only question for me. And so the way it's looking right now is you got the Bucks on one side of the bracket, and then the Celtics and the Raptors on the other side of the bracket. So my opinion is that if the Celtics can beat the Raptors and they can go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if they face up against the Bucks, I'd say it's like 40-60 in favor of the Bucks. So they got like a 60% chance of winning because I'm trusting Jason Tatum right now. I'm going to just say that I trust Jason Tatum. I've been a hater of Jason Tatum in the past, but I'm putting my money on Jason Tatum. I just got a feeling he's gonna go stupid. And so it's either gonna be that's gonna be the scenario, or the Raptors win against the Celtics, which is also very likely to happen. But if that happens, I'm taking the Raptors going to the finals because I believe that the Raptors can beat the Bucks again. And a lot of people forget that people attribute Giannis not doing too well to Kawhi, which really isn't what happened, because if you saw the series, most of the time Siakam was guarding Giannis and he was guiding. They were basically funneling Giannis into the paint, so giving him the looks that he wanted, and then funneling the 3-4 fucking big men on him and taking away his strongest game after making him think that it was there, that the look was there. So I honestly think that there's no reason why that wouldn't work again. Like, sure, the Bucks are better at shooting threes this year, but the Raptors also allow teams to shoot some of the lowest percentages on threes in the NBA. So, I mean, either way, I think that the Raptors have a very solid chance of beating the Bucks. They just need a couple people to have really good games. Like Fred VanVleet, you saw what he did in the finals last year. Yeah. He could pretty well do the same thing again in the Eastern Conference Finals. And if so, the Raptors will be in the finals against the Lakers. And then you know what's going to happen then. You know what's going to happen then.
Dub.
All right.
I
got one. And this is, I thought of this on the fly, kind of. This ain't the hot take for the sake of a hot take. This is actually a real thing. I say the Nuggets are going to be a disappointment once again. We have seen them countless times be a regular season team and not show up. I honestly thought the Nuggets should have beat the Trailblazers last season, but they couldn't deliver. I'm looking at Jamal Murray. I haven't seen any improvement from him from last season. And you know me, Jamal Murray hater, because you know what he did to Alonzo. So I feel like all Laker fans are, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that Lonzo's, improving every season, and then Jamal is just stagnant. So he's robbing the Nuggets basically of their money.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nuggets are going to be frauds once again. We've seen it in the regular season. We saw what AD did to Jokic in the fourth quarter in Denver. He shot that man down. And AD, the skinny guy, right? Jokic back then was big. I was worried, how is AD going to match with Jokic? But then I saw it, and I'm like, he's doing it in Denver, high altitude? And you're shutting down Jokic in the fourth?
Altitude. Okay.
10, skinny, and you're going against the 7-footer like Jokic? Come on now. So, and, Jamal Murray's stinking it up. He said a comment like, how NBA players have been practicing and, doing workouts and things of that nature, get them into shape. Jamal Murray came out and was like, basically he said, all these guys in game shape, like, I don't understand. Basically he said, I don't understand it. Like, y'all doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. So I'm like, oh, so you weren't working in the game. You're just chilling while everybody else is getting shots up. Your teammates losing weight, probably to adjust to AD. Right? And you're at home growing up.
He was at home making those adult videos that got
leaked. Thought we forgot.
I saw a tweet that was like Jamal Murray was really at home, not working on his game and working on his OnlyFans instead.
That's a bar. That's kind of a bar. That's a bar.
Bro really put on a lot of weight. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fat phobe, but like, in terms of basketball, that is not basketball shape, bro. Like, purely speaking of basketball, like, come on now, bro. You know better than to be looking like that when you're like less than a month away from your first game.
Quick comment on the video. White girl's a demon. I see the potential in her. I'm gonna move that aside. Pretend y'all didn't hear that. Now,
this white girl?
Huh?
Did you say the white girl?
The white girl is a demon, and I see the potential. Putting that aside.
Y'all pray for Jude. Y'all pray for Jude.
You've been in quarantine waiting too long, bro. Goddamn.
Hey, then you let the club Rona back up.
Table 6, bro.
Hella different.
That's the real beat.
I told you I was pillow
I'm
talking.
tweeting this. 6 Sense audience needs to hear this bullshit.
I told y'all, man, quarantine is real, man. You know, I told y'all like a week ago, like, yo, I've been pillow talking to myself. This is getting out of hand. But no, but let's get back to Jamal Murray.
Oh,
Jamal Murray, bro. Yeah, man, a fraud. I see it. I feel like it's gonna fail the Nuggets again, and we might have to be looking at moves and pieces. I don't know, but they don't make to the Western Conference Finals, which I don't think they will. But if they don't do that, then it's like, oh boy, because they got the talent. They got the talent. But yes, I'm being. Let me be objective here and say yes, the white girl is a demon. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fair. He's on demon time with that one.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness.
Lakers, a little quick Lakers situation. Rondo, Avery Bradley.
ooh.
It's kind of scary, but we were talking about this earlier in the chat. It's kind of scary, but you know, at the very least, we got Dion Waiters now. So Dion Waiters can take up ball handling in the way that Rondo did. I don't think we're gonna make up for what Avery Bradley brought to the team, but you know, other teams are also missing players or you know are out of shape, and I trust the Lakers to all be in shape. Like real shit. I see the way LeBron's been working. I see the way AD's been working. I see the way you know Caruso's been working.
Oh,
You know, I believe in the Lakers. Like despite us missing Avery Bradley, that's gonna be the biggest hit. But I think that like Dion Waiters and the rest of the team can step it up.
definitely. You know, Caruso, I'm worried about Caruso. Because now he seems like he's gonna be the point guard, backing up possibly KCP. I've heard from Vogel that KCP will be starting, you know, just working in the rotations and whatnot, and Caruso will be the solid like backup to KCP, from what I'm hearing.
Mhm.
I'm worried that you know Caruso thrives off of because yes, he doesn't do much. Like his role is very minimal, so he thrives in that minimal role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just has to focus on defense for like 10 minutes, give a little offensive spurt here and there, and that's it. Now, and he can handle the ball, but he wasn't one of the primary ball handlers, and I'm worried that that may overwhelm Caruso. But I think he's ready. I'm just worried though. I want to see how it plays out in the scrimmages and in the regular season. But I hope by the time the playoffs start picking up, I hope Caruso can be the Rondo. So, but I am worried though. It is definitely a concern. Looking at Dion, I see Dion as a great pickup, bro. His ceiling is real high. He can score. He's a solid ball handler.
My
In the
bad.
highlights. Solid ball handler. He can pass in tight spots. So he's a solid passer himself, but he's a scorer, and that's what we're gonna need him to do. And JR needs to hit some shots. That's it. JR needs to hit
They
shots.
are.
We need J.R. Smith, that Henny god, to hit some. If he hits shots, then I feel like we're good.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely going to take some load off of LeBron. I feel like now having another ball handler that can score in Waiters and then J.R. Smith being able to spot up. Because, you know, our strong suit was definitely our defense throughout the season. And I feel like our weakest point was probably our outside shooting. And now we got 2 outside shooters. And we lost a little defense, but I feel like we still got more than enough defense for us to be okay.
Yeah, we got wings. We got wingspan, so we should be solid.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see a playoff AD and how he adapts to being with LeBron in the playoffs, because now he has someone to link up with and get some like big shots up, you know, and maybe him play center once in a while. I'm not sure how it's gonna like work out. I think he'll like bite the bullet and try it sometime since we have like more support on the outside. And I'm excited for this year's playoffs.
Yes, sir.
And
He's averaging AD was averaging like 30, 12, and 2 blocks. And that was
Yeah.
in the Pelicans when Rondo went off that year. 30, 12, and 2 blocks. So 30, like, now we got LeBron. It's like,
I predict Lakers
AD's
will
a
get.
monster, bro. He impacts the game in so many ways, man. If he can just become a better passer out the post, I'll be solid, bro. Like, you got it. But right now, AD's not a great passer out the post. He's not a great passer out there. But other than that, AD's a monster. So
What were you saying, Sekou?
Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Kuzma. I feel like he's like I feel like I think we're sleeping on Kuzma. I feel like he put some work in during this quarantine. He's definitely like gonna benefit from this like spotlight and the more pressure to be on his game, so he doesn't get like on the bench. Because I know he hasn't been like too impactful, but I feel like he'll like get some shots up and provide some relief for LeBron in shooting.
It's a great environment for Kuzma. No distractions, no women around him, bro. Like
no Winnie Harlow to distract him.
No, it's just straight basketball for Kuzma. So he's gonna be. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be laser focused. I've heard from LeBron and the guys like, yo, like we're all like focused, like we're here to win. So like I'm excited for that. You already know what Dwight's gonna bring. Dwight's been our redemption story for us. So I'm not even worried about Dwight at this point. Like he's good in my book.
X.
Well, one thing I do think is that if Kuzma disappoints in the playoffs, he's gonna get traded. Because he had a very disappointing season, and now that the Lakers are doing this good, I think they're in win now mode. And if Kuzma is holding that back at all, I think they're just gonna get rid of him.
Shit. Yeah, he needs to. I hope so. I mean, if he plays defense, because he's a capable wing defender.
Oh yeah, for sure. When he puts his mind to it, he could definitely play solid defense.
So if he's not scoring, I need him to be like a quarter of Draymond Green. You know what I mean? At least a quarter of Draymond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You stay in front, put your hands up, and we're solid. So, but definitely his biggest impact is scoring. He needs to be putting the ball in the basket for sure. Oh man, I think we covered everything, bro. It's 2 hours of content, so I hope you guys.
Bro,
I don't expect to listen to everything, but I'm sure we got something for everybody. We got timestamps. YouTube. Bless YouTube.
Well,
the blessing, bro. They put the little sections in the book, so there ain't no really. I'm just saying, no excuses. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody. Shout out to Zoom and the Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah.
Solid throughout. Really solid. Something Anchor couldn't do.
For real.
Man, Anchor's slipping up.
I mean, you watch the news, you see people like getting guests in from like video calls and like their connection's trash. But shout out to Zoom for really keeping it up, man. This is great. Word of the week, man. We got word of the week. Or 2 months, the last 2 months. I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's a lot of motherfuckers, man. Fuck, I didn't even think about this.
See,
parents.
I'm reconsidering. I think my bird of the week is that Z-Way girl.
Okay.
Because I just think it's like very bird-like of you to. I'm sure she knows enough because I've seen some of her content and she is pretty knowledgeable. So like what she was doing was disingenuous, and I'm sure she knows it deep inside. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like gaslighting people into voting for Biden when, I don't know, shitty. It's really a terrible framework of how you should motivate people to vote.
My bird of the, I'm gonna say bird of the lockdown so far. It's been 2 months. So I'm gonna just call it that. The lockdown bird so far for me are people on Twitter and just anywhere that shame people to going to work in a pandemic when you know full well that the government isn't doing anything to alleviate, like, they're not doing rent freezes, they're not paying people to stay home. So like when you see people like even Trump supporters, like, and I think it's easy to jab at Trump supporters, but they low-key have a point, like, I need to go work because the government's not doing that's not the reasoning, but they're like, yo, I gotta go to work, like I gotta eat, I got to pay rent. But if you're just out there saying like, oh well, you're a bad person for going to work, just going out to it's like, what are you really doing? You know what I mean? That's my bird. If you're not acknowledging that people have to eat and go to work, and if you're not acknowledging that the government is not doing anything, then you're a bird.
My birds of the lockdown are all the Karens who have been like exposed, all the Karens who've been like painting over Black Lives Matter signs, all the Karens who are stopping young Black kids from having fun, all the Karens who are putting Black lives at risk, especially at a time like this during COVID-19, where prisoners are dying because of COVID, and that's been a real letdown for to hear because they're already being isolated, but they're dying of a virus when a prison wants to actually keep prisoners, but they're letting them die, and it's not making any sense to me. So, bird of the lockdown are all the Karens. So stay away and stay safe.
Sure. That's it for the episode then, right?
This is a solid episode. This is one of my favorite I'll probably leave it episodes.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Like, it was very fluid, you know what I'm saying? A lot of nuance takes. You know,
Covered all the bases too.
yeah.
We touched on everything.
Everything, man. So obviously, you know how we do timestamps in the YouTube, timestamps for people that listen to it on the audio. Follow us on social medias, Sixth Sense Pod, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Peace.
Sir. Peace.
Signing off.